Damn. A little sip of Perrier here. I had to stop drinking alcohol because I used to wake up nude in the hood of my car with my keys in my ass. Not a good thing. Hi, can I help you? No, thanks. It's just flooded. I'll be okay. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful, yeah.
I was with my friend, and he said, I hear music. As though there's any other way you can take it in. You're not special. That's how I receive it, too. I tried to taste it, but it did not work.
The ice cream be running all down your arm and shit.
Ice cream, I'm going to eat my ice cream.
No, it'd be one kid on the side, didn't get no ice cream, and kids don't care. They go,
you don't have no ice cream. You didn't get none. You didn't get none. Cause you are on the welfare. And you can't afford it. You can't afford it.
Got 6 kids and we're doing just fine. Down here in Launch Lady Land.
You know, a lot of those bits ended up being his movies. Yeah. Like The Excited Southerner. Yep. I didn't even realize that. I was like, that's Bobby Boucher. Yep. And then most of the people that are in his movies are on all those. David Spade.
Yep. For sure.
Did you do a top 5?
I did. I did a top 5 for like just me. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
I think I only got to 2. I just, I like the comedy album, but mine is very limited. Yeah. It was my idea too. What the fuck?
Damn it, bro.
I'm like, God damn. Okay, I had to check.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. We are live. No false metal, Ragman.
It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit, man. You think I'm a wussy fucking weak tit? One of the best lines of that whole fucking movie, man.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Sammy Kerr. I thought we were friends, Ragman. Yeah, that's weird. The band that did the whole soundtrack for that one, they only made 2 records. But it was like a super group of heavy metal dudes. It was like the guitar player, Fast Eddie Clark from Motorhead.
Okay.
And then like some other really big time singer. They had that band. It was like, damn, they kicked ass, Oh, yeah. I think it's one of the few like really, really good bands, that were that kind of that cock
Super
rock.
group.
Yeah.
Oh, cock rock.
Yeah, but like a little bit different.
Right.
Just for me. Okay, you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
That's quite good. Attack warning. Is it for real? Attack warning. It's for bloody real.
Live from Colorado Springs, the Drop Culture Podcast.
Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Come on, quick, get down.
1, 2, 3. Welcome, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Brock.
And we're going to take a little piece of pop culture and shine it up real nice and cram it in your ear holes. What are we talking about this week, Brock?
This week is all about the comedy album.
Yes.
Now, the only thing that, this kind of just happened. We were talking, I was thinking about it and I brought it up and I was like, oh, damn.
And
nobody
I
ever
agreed
talks
wholeheartedly.
About those. Yeah, nobody else talks about these.
And this was really a cultural phenomenon from like the time records were invented.
Oh, yeah.
I almost sounded like the rural juror.
The rural juror.
Yeah, right there. But it wasn't really until they made the long play records when it really hit, and that was what, the 40s?
Yeah, it was a lot of the older, people live on stage, and they would record them. Boom, you got it.
Which is kind of what they did anyways, I mean, that's really what you get nowadays. People just record like one show, and then they're like, hey, this is my album.
Yeah. Well, the live shows, like, I'm not going to say his full name, but the dude that was on Fat Albert, he had some of the most powerful, or not powerful, but popular, like, recorded ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Before, like, Eddie Murphy. But then his records, he had tons of records. Bill Cosby had tons of records. The Smothers Brothers, God, I'm trying to think of all of the...
So that's, the 60s were huge. Like, 60s and 70s really blew up the whole comedy album even more. It became more of a phenomenon. But you're absolutely right. Like Jonathan Winters, Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks, Lenny Bruce, Red Fox.
Oh, yeah, come on. Everybody was recording that stuff because they could, and they could get it out there, and they could make money. You know? I mean, it really did. Every generation, I think, has a comedy, person that was on whatever their format of choice was.
Right.
Everybody had a comedy person. And one of those comedy persons that transcended everything was like George Carlin.
Yeah, well, that's getting into the 70s for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Carlin, as we'll talk about later, is probably one of my favorite comedians of all time. I've seen everything he's ever done. I own his books, that kind of a deal. Like, I really dig George Carlin.
Oh, yeah. The way his delivery and everything, he was informing you. So think about all of the talk show hosts now, the way they are. That's almost kind of like...
Yeah, the thing that I always liked about him is he also, like, he knew how to balance it with, like, a dick joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to
or
make
a
it funny.
fart joke.
Yeah.
Or something,
But he did.
But he delivered like ideals.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah. The way that his comedy specials, he did how many, 17 or something like that for HBO, something crazy.
Oh, I think it was more than that.
Yeah. I know he literally did so much.
Because I think his first one was in 77.
No, I think it's 72, wasn't it?
I don't think there was an HBO in 70.
No. Yeah. I was thinking record. Whoops.
Yeah. As far as HBO specials, like, I think his first one was in 77.
Yeah. I think he'd been on there the whole time. So,
but I mean, 70s, man. You had Cheech and Chong, of course, which we've talked about in the past. Like, I got Cheech and Chong albums real early in my life that I probably shouldn't have.
Exactly, me too. And I knew what they were talking about.
Right, Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
those are the big ones I think of. Steve Martin was 70s. Still.
Steve Martin was huge with the records. Everybody has like that one.
I don't remember what years it was, and since we're doing a podcast about this, I should probably have some facts, but I don't. But there was I remember reading something where it was like comedy albums were outselling actual regular albums for this one span of time, and I want to say that it was the late 60s, early 70s, maybe, or in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it would have to be in the 70s if I were to put a year on it. It would have to. I'm not putting one. I'm putting a decade on it.
Sure.
Within the 70s.
Well, just the time, yeah.
Yeah. Because at that point, people were kind of more insular. We were kind of getting into that. So a lot of people were listening to things. You had the grittiness of the 70s, and then having these people pointing out the issues that are out there in comedy.
And that's just it, too, is I think, in the 80s started it, where it was more like you could get a VHS.
Yes.
You could get an HBO special.
Yep.
You could get visual with it, you know? And definitely into the 90s. And now, I mean, sure, Netflix.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to watch it, or HBO, or whoever, you know what I mean?
The Dave
Comedy
Chappelle.
Central.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle now, everything he releases on Netflix is great.
Absolutely. I'm not hating by any means. It's just different. No. So people are consuming it in a different way.
Yeah. Well, they have like Kevin Hart in the round, basically.
Yeah.
Like to 30,000 people. You're like, Jesus Christ. So it's there, and it always has been. And we did have the benefit of cable TV, and getting to watch somebody like Bobcat Goldthwait or Sam Kinison. And then you had Comedy Central, and that's what it was for. It was comedians.
Like the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. So you would watch, what was the late night show that they had? Remember at like 9 o'clock, they would just do nothing but comedy specials for people
on Comedy Central.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it was just kind of
was
like
it the One Night Stand? No.
One Night Stand was on
HBO, right?
HBO or Showtime,
whatever.
Of those, yeah.
But it was something like that. It was their nighttime thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they would. I mean, now it's just all about, I don't know, reality shows. Everything is there, but. I can remember, everybody had some sort of a comedy record,
right.
When I was growing up, or somebody had something that was funny, so you listen to it and be like, I don't even know what he's talking about when you're really little. But then when you got older, like, again, Cheech and Chong was there and listened the shit out of those records, over and over again. 'Cause you could just picture it. And that was the really cool part, is like putting it in your head.
Yeah. They were painting a picture with their comedy, which was cool. Like a setting, like you're right. You saw it. It was like a skit.
Yeah.
Which we got a lot of before and after that, but they did it very well,
Yeah. I mean, Cheech and Chong pretty much capitalized at the right time. For what they did, because didn't they start in strip clubs? I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure.
It was like some Canadian strip club. They would do an act in between stuff, and then it took off, and Pedro and the Man Were Born.
Right.
Then they put them down on record, and it was good.
Yeah.
Because I did watch a biography, Cheech and Chong. You know what I mean? So totally anti everything that they were about back in the day. And it's like Chong is sitting there on his patio, and Cheech is like, yeah, I don't got a mustache no more. It was weird, but their records were so goddamn funny. I mean, for real.
Absolutely.
Each one of them was really good. Are we going to do a top 5? Because I only have 2.
Well, we'll do a top whatever then.
Yeah.
I've got 5. I've got some honorable mentions. Kind of digging into the history, one of the things, and I think that might have been on their Wikipedia page, what I didn't know was like back, I think it was in the 50s and through the 70s. And they had what you'd call party records.
Yep. Rudy Ray Moore and stuff, right?
It was like Laugh Records was one of them. So it would be like Red Fox, Richard Pryor, people who were dirty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you couldn't go in and like look at their records. You would have to ask for them because they were behind the counter. How crazy is that, dude? It's like awesome. Contraband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now they're saying
they're cussing and saying stuff about sex.
Well, Lenny Bruce.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, you listen to any of his stuff. I even have a Lenny Bruce vinyl. It's like the Berkeley one or something like that. But literally,
nice. Very cool.
Yeah, on the inside of the LP, he's got a pan with a piece of shit in it. And I was like, God dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Maybe I should keep this one.
I think that all comedians owe a great debt to Lenny Bruce.
And listening to his stuff, his political stuff and everything, when you listen to it, you're like, it's not that crazy.
But for the time.
For the time, I can't even imagine it,
Right.
Because it just, to me, is like, it's just funny.
Right.
He would just kind of point out some shit and really kind of talk a lot of shit about people. And it was funny. People loved it. But yet he was banned from performing pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Had to drive him crazy that he couldn't do what he wanted to do. I mean, yeah, that kind of almost led to these talk radio shows like Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Things like that, right? Howard Stern went on there and was just doing whatever he wanted to. And just like a comedy record, they were having a good time, And these shows were always really, the ones that they recorded were always really good. Then you had Eddie Murphy. He broke the game whenever he did Raw. When Raw was second, right?
Delirious
was second?
No, yeah, Delirious was second, I believe. There was a first one that's not as popular, and then Raw was the big one because that was in all the theaters.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
My parents went and saw that.
Nice.
And I think the thought crossed their mind to take me, and they were like, no. That was the only thing.
It's funny that you say that because in Delirious, he actually talks about, because there's some kids there, he's like, here's a joke you can tell at school. And the way he tells it, you should never tell it at school, probably. But, it was whatever. And but he talks about how people are always bringing their kids, to to his show, and he's like, "Yeah, you thought I was going to be doing OT, and no, fuck that shit."
Well, yeah, and then you had the comedy music, Dr. Demento, which they did a lot of Cheech and Chong stuff on there. I know that, and then they also did
everything. There was
Dr. Demento was crazy, but he was on the radio, which was cool. He still is, I think, right? I don't know.
But I think that like led to like Weird Al. Weird Al, every album he had was a comedy album, really.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a musical comedy album.
Yeah, no, somebody, because he started on Dr. Demento,
Right.
kind of just putting his shit out there, being like, oh, like a surgeon. But I remember being young.
Oh.
And Weird Al was like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Like Weird Al and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, dang.
Eat it.
Yeah. It was both of them. You
Even
look forward to his
that,
video.
even though, another one rides the bus.
Yeah. And and like he literally took the medium of videos and turned it into a awesome production.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you would look forward to the new Weird Al video that they play on the top of the hour every hour. You're like, yeah.
Well, the nice thing that what Weird Al did very well was keep that very current.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always like, this one looks like the bad cover, and we made a whole little deal about it.
Yeah.
It's called Fat. Or, like the one, the Nirvana cover that he did, stuff like that. So it's like very relevant at the time.
Yeah,
he wasn't like dicking around for 5 years writing,
he had like
he
a
was
Springsteen.
talented,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, he's very good from what I understand. I mean, shit, Vanna White thinks so.
Well, there you go.
No, right? The number one babe on TV.
In 1986.
Can I get an eye? So,
here's some glasses.
Yes, thank you.
No, you said an eye. Here's a monocle. My bad. Who doesn't want a monocle? Come on.
Well, I try to keep mine up because I got dual monocles.
Oh, that sounds painful. You'd be like squinting all the time trying to hold them in.
Yeah, just a frown. That's why those guys are always like, what? What is this? So my eyes hurt. No, my generation, 100%, and yours too. Adam Sandler. It was almost like it felt like the tail end of what that was.
Yeah,
the comedy record.
The 90s were a big comedy, I think for me anyways, probably because that was when I was consuming the most of it, was a big time for comedy. There was a lot of really good comedians. There were still comedy albums coming out. But you're right, like after that, like early 2000s, you still got some, but then, everything kind of progressed to, and I'm sure a lot of them are still putting stuff out. I'm not saying that. Yeah. But again, you're just consuming them in a different way generally.
Yeah. Well, whenever I think of it now, I think of Dane Cook. I'm sorry.
There's Dane Cook that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got some good stuff.
For like one of his early albums, I was like, man, this guy's really funny.
And then it got kind of
the same. Yeah.
And it was all just him acting crazy on stage. And okay, cool. Doesn't translate well onto a record. No. But that was the last thing that I ever knew anybody personal to me or close to me that but that listened to comedy records after a certain point.
Yeah, no.
And Dane Cook was like the last one.
That's kind of the end of it. Yeah, you're right.
Well, of course, I mean, all right, I'll start my list.
Okay.
I'll just start just one. We'll kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, first one is gonna be Cheech and Chong, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, there you go.
That was one of the first ones I ever owned. It's one of the best ones because there's not a lot of junk on it, and it's just skit after good skit after good skit, especially when they're at the old folks home. And he's like, "Come on, baby, let's go," because they got to go to one side. It's like the Olympics for the old people. And they got to go to the other side of the room and pee into a deal, and they got to come back. But they're like false star. Hey, we got a false star here.
Yeah.
Just so many fucking good bits.
Absolutely.
You know, after I had that one, I think I got every other one of them.
So Cheech and Chong is like Carlin to me in the degree that like it's hard for me to choose one album.
Right.
You know, because they're all good.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's so many cool skits, you know, and you may have an album where it's like 2 or 3 that really stand out to you, but 2 or 3, the other 2 or 3 might stand out to me even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to find like one album where it's like, yep, this one's all mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
No,
to you?
no. I totally understand what you're saying. Because I'm the opposite because I feel that Sleeping Beauty is the one that I'll listen to forever.
Gotcha.
I love the imagery of the wedding album. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Where they were like, they were like joined at the hip and they were both getting married at the same time. Man, that's the stuff like I've always wanted to do as well.
Right.
You know, because of those records, because of this kind of deal, I wanted to have that comedy. I've always wanted to do something outlandish like that because it makes me laugh. And especially seeing them as like that. Oh my God, it was so good. So funny.
Absolutely. That's all. I think, you know, we've talked about it on this show before, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Like having those really early in life, like 9, 10 years old, that set me on a path, you know, like I was in on the whole comedy thing.
Oh yeah.
Like right away.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, this is my jam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I had the CD and then they have the, twat tactical women's assault team. Oh my God. That whole bit, like, again, it was dirty. I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And like you said, it perpetuated everything from there because I was like, damn, this is so good. I'm going to listen to this over and over again.
Smell it. Smells like shit.
It's a tactical women's assault team. Twat.
The one with the drug cop.
Oh my God. Sergeant Stadenko?
Yes.
Yeah.
That album's actually right down there, that vinyl.
The Big Bamboo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, every one of them was good. Sleeping Beauty came out in 76. It was one of their older ones.
Okay.
Or one of their ones that came, you know what I mean.
Sure.
And I think I got it in 92 because it says it was briefly reissued on CD in 92.
Oh, there you go.
But I got one of the big long CD boxes and it had the clip in it. To where, like they did with the records.
Yeah.
So this was like, they were about to give it away. I think I paid $18.99 for it, you know, on sale.
Right.
Remember when CDs were freaking
absolutely.
expensive? Damn. Yeah, that sucked. But yeah, no, it had a lot of really good stuff on it. Every bit in that whole thing was just good. And then, of course, we had the movies. I mean, the movies were freaking awesome, you know?
Oh, of course. And that's there's a lot of comedians that go into acting, and a lot of them will come off their skit, like we were talking about with Adam Sandler, right? It's pretty much the same thing Cheech and Chong did, really. They created these characters for their comedy.
And kind of grew.
Just grew into, okay, now we have these albums, now we're making movies.
And Chong didn't really get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember whenever he had that movie Far Out Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he was Chong, but he was a more overt Chong.
Chong was also in Evil Bong.
Ugh.
I don't know about Evil Bong 2 and 3, but he was in Evil Bong. If you smoked from the bong, you went into a world inside the bong. Yeah.
Damn, he's like, hey, man, we need you, Jerry.
It's a terrible movie.
I can imagine, dude.
But I watched that motherfucker.
Nah. Well, you know, I watched everything that Chong did after, you know, 5th grade.
Right.
And Cheech was on fucking Nash Bridges. You know what I mean? I was like, you're not serious. Are you?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No, Cheech he's the one that's in the lexicon. Both of them are. Both of them are so huge that I think everybody, no matter what generation you're from or what time period or whatnot, you listen to a Cheech and Chong record.
Maybe not a record, but you've listened to something or saw
yeah.
something or whatever. And I totally agree with that. The only thing I see with Chong anymore is there's always ads on my phone that say, like, he's telling me my CBD is worse than any, like, don't throw away your CBD. And I'm like, I didn't even know I had CBD.
Yes. It's always like every website I go to, Chong says throw away that CBD you're using. What the fuck? So then you look at it. Yeah, because I've tried to read it, right, to figure out what it is, and it's just nothing but
a different CBD company that's trying to sell you something.
Pretty much, but it's like a lead up to nothing.
Gotcha.
It's one of those. So you have to go through like 50 apps. Your phone gets really hot,
and then it says 404 file not found, and then explodes.
You go to next, and it still takes you to the same first page. You're like, son of a bitch. Is there a reader mode on this?
Is there a reason for this?
And they never get to the point. They're like, he says this, and these kind of boys do this. You know, whatever.
You know, that's great.
Yeah, but Chong's not really saying that.
No, Chong didn't tell me that.
No. But yeah, I'm going to put Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Really up there. I'd almost say Sleeping Beauty. So what would you say is one of yours?
All right. I'm going to go in chronological order, I think. Yes. And so this is a comedy tape that like a cassette tape that I had back in the day when I was a kid. And this cassette tape came out in 1983. And it was Eddie Murphy Delirious. And I lost my mind when I heard this. And I had it, I think, well after 1983. Like, I got it, several, like, here's a cassette tape. And, it's probably 4 or 5 years later or something.
Right.
So I was probably like 13. And I lost my mind. Just such good stuff, you know what I mean? And
he was bigger than life at that point.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I mean, he was everywhere. He was on everything. He was only 18 or 19 whenever he was on
SNL, yeah.
Fucking crazy, man. I mean,
ultimate talent. I mean, like, this is I think the reason this one's my favorite out of all of them is it's got the stuff about having cookouts with his dad and his aunt coming over and falling down the stairs and his uncle burning down the backyard and all that, you know what I mean? And it's so good. About the aunt being a Bigfoot.
Oh,
you said she was fucking Puerto Rican, Gus. She's not Puerto Rican. She's a fucking Bigfoot.
Have you noticed he's kind of gone off for a little while?
Who?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
He's not everywhere like he was.
No, he's coming. Right now he is because of coming to America.
Yes, part 2.
No, coming to America.
Yes. Yeah. So they threw the 2 where
like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Or T.O.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at in the sentence as a preposition.
But no, this blew my mind as a kid. So maybe I was like 12. I don't remember. Who cares? But it was really something where I was like, took my comedy like brain to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of woke you up. You were woke.
I was woke. Comedy woke because of Eddie Murphy. It's true. It's true. Now, I would say that because I listened to this like really before I started listening to Richard Pryor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'd heard Richard Pryor. I'd seen Richard Pryor in the movies, but really listening to his comedy came after this because of Eddie Murphy, probably.
Right.
You know?
I don't think I've ever really listened to like Red Fox too.
I've listened to some Red Fox because he's from the STL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
For the uneducated.
From the Lou, and I'm proud. No, that's Nelly. I'm not really from the Lou, but I lived pretty close.
No, I really remember Eddie Murphy being like as big as Footloose back in the day.
Dude, I just like when Raw came out in the theaters, like I was like, oh my God. And people went nuts.
It was a packed house every time.
Yeah.
I remember the theater that my parents went to go watch it, the UA6. That freaking thing was not a very big theater anyway, but it was the biggest one in town before the mall one came.
Of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But seeing the poster out there, that was one of the coolest parts about the comedy records moving to television and everything like that, you know, after a while, because they hit more people with that. And not everybody did that until they started really doing the specials.
Right.
Eddie Murphy, of course, has always been in my life because, again, like you said,
of the Haunted Mansion,
yeah. Because, like you said, it was like it takes your comedy to another level, and especially when you're watching his Saturday Night Live skits.
Right.
I still have the best of Eddie Murphy SNL. That's
So do I.
Only one.
That's the one. I have that one as well.
Yeah, it's so great. Every time I watch it, I'm like, dang, he was so good.
Oh, Tay.
Wookin' putting up and all the bomb paces.
I mean, here's how iconic he was. When James Brown did a song for Rocky IV, he said, "Eat your heart out, Eddie Murphy." Because Eddie Murphy had done the Celebrity Hot Tub skit.
Yeah.
That's big, dude.
Yeah. And he was, how long was he on the actual show?
It wasn't really that long, was it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have it up. I apologize.
His middle name is Reagan. Eddie Reagan Murphy.
What? What just happened to me?
What happened?
Is that really his middle name?
Yeah. No joke. Edward Reagan Murphy.
I had no idea.
Me neither.
What?
You just learned something.
Yeah.
Huh. He was only on from 80 to 84.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
right. I
yeah.
was going to say 3 years, but yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
4.
Well, I mean, he just killed it on that show, and he could develop a lot of characters. And then whenever he got into movies, like another 48 Hours. Come on, that kind of put him on the map for when it came to action or live action movies, and he was good in it because he had Trading Places.
Yeah, dude, I think there was a time like Eddie Murphy movies couldn't miss.
No,
they
were like Will Smith.
Yeah, they really
before Will Smith.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Until he got to
that's it. Eddie Murphy is the original Will Smith.
He is. Yeah, and then he did Pluto Nash. Oh. Dun, 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 dun. I like Norbit though. I thought that was funny. Yeah. It was a horrible movie, but it was pretty funny. It was so bad. And then
what about Bill Cosby's Leonard Part 6?
Oh shit! Not even.
But again, a natural transition. You're an entertainer.
Yeah, and his records. I mean, shit, were everywhere too. I mean, everybody had Eddie Murphy something. He was. Again, I'm going to compare him with like Michael Jordan and stuff like that. Because at the time, he was killing it on all cylinders.
Yeah. I listened to that tape on my knockoff ass Walkman.
It was a
GPX.
GPX Fast Buddy. Run, buddy.
Anyways.
No.
But yeah, that's the first one I would say.
Okay. It was a very
okay.
Okay. He was great. Okay, now I'm gonna pivot to Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Cause the 2 albums that got me, They're All Gonna Laugh at You and What the Hell Happened to Me.
I was all over. Yeah, for sure.
93. So if you think 93 and he was killing it, this was before he really was. I mean, he was doing good on SNL, but nothing like these records. They were so funny.
Yeah.
Man. Plus he had, all of his songs that were doing good that he would do on the show and then they put on the record. This was accessible to me because I never really watched Saturday Night Live about that time.
Well, what really got it for me was, this was the guy from Remote Control.
Yeah. As we've said before.
Yes. He's still throwing it back out there.
Yeah.
That's where I remember him starting.
Yeah.
MTV, Remote Control. He'd just come on and do a little bit and then leave.
Yeah. He was just kind of on there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Colin Quinn was kind of the Ed McMahon.
Yeah. And then
Ken Ober.
Yeah, Ken Ober.
He was like the guy, I don't know what happened to that dude. But everybody else did pretty well.
Yeah. I think Ken Ober did too, but
I'm sure he did, but
I can't wait till the Lifetime movie, the Ken Ober story.
Oh, that would be grand. That'll be grand. I'm in 100%.
And it's like, it shows him backstage chugging 40 ounces with like Public Enemy and shit.
He's like the hardest motherfucker.
Yeah. He's just like, glug, 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 glug. They're like, Ken Oberman, you rule, dude. It's like,
Easy comes up talking shit and he just slaps him down.
he has the Lifetime movie special. So sometimes I was at my lowest when I was on that show. Sometimes I was at my highest.
But Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Yeah, no, what the hell happened to me? I listened to this freaking thing on tape because I had, in my truck, we would crank that shit at lunch and sit at the gas station and be like, yeah, Fatty McGee, everything like that. Oh my God, it was so bad. It's the assistant principal's big day. Come on. And there's so many that
all of the girls' shower will now be moved into my office.
The longest pee is the one that gets me. He's like, oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I'll be out in a minute. And then you hear the zip, and it's like, and it's like, oh man. It's just so good. And of course it had the Thanksgiving song. It had a Fatty McGee. It had the beating of a high school teacher. Where did all of this shit come from?
And they're just, isn't that the one that has multiple beatings of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have the.
It's been a while. I haven't heard this in quite.
The beating of a high school janitor.
Yes.
So mop all day long.
Mop, why I sing this song? Yes.
Gonna wax that floor. Gonna make it shine. Gonna take off the spray paint with turpentine. See, that's how much this one stuck with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I listened to it, I was like, man, I'm back in 93. This is just so awesome. Did this win? Oh, it was nominated for Best Comedy Album.
Nice.
God, it sold over 2 million copies. Whew. Wow. No, you had Lunch Ladyland. Come on.
Oh, dude. That is a song that, as when my daughters were younger, like I would play it in the car, like it was on my mix. Because again, I'm always looking for things where they're not cursing. When my kids were small. So I was like, oh, this is great. And they loved it. They just laughed,
Yeah. Like Toll Booth Willy.
Yeah. I didn't let them listen to that. just the Lunch Lady song. That's all they got of him.
Well, Bob Odenkirk was a writer of Lunch Ladyland.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He's listed as, it's Sandler, Bob Odenkirk, Alan Covert, and then Tim O'Hillery.
Hoagies and grinders, Navy beans, meatloaf sandwich, sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. Yeah.
Everything.
Dude,
Tim
so
Meadows
good.
was on it.
Yeah.
God, Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
David Spade, Chris Farley. There's so many people that were on this record, and they were all from that same time. So that's why, in here recently, he did that Chris Farley song. That thing blew up.
Yeah.
It was a good song, too. I mean, he's one hell of a guitar player, too.
Yeah. He's got time. He can play basketball.
Yeah, what can I say? He's a total package when it comes to, he's like the trifecta. He could be on stage. He could be in a band.
Is he an EGOT winner?
Oh my God, he should be. Come on. He could do everything.
But and now he just works for Netflix and is like makes location films. He's like, I really wanted to go to Bermuda. Cool. Let's make a movie about Bermuda. Somebody write that now. Write that down. It's important.
And well, he made most of his money from the first Paul Blart movie. So he's like, I'm still living off residuals from that one.
That and my grandma's boy money.
I know. I forgot what his production company is called. But God, he's been
Monkey Poop or something. No, I don't remember.
Yeah. He went to Manchester Central High School in New York City.
Oh. Good to know.
He's only got 2 kids. Okay, I can see that. Come on. he did so much stuff. He's still, for our generation, he's like Dick Smothers and shit. You know what I mean? All the Happy Madison shit.
Yeah, Happy Madison. That's it. Yeah.
God, is all over everything. Little Nicky. I watched, what was it, not too long ago? What was the first movie he did?
Billy Madison?
Yes.
Wow. That's one of my daughter's favorite movies.
It's funny, but there's some parts where I was like, damn.
Oh, yeah, it's Adam Sandler.
No, I didn't think it was like dirty or nothing. I was just like, this, like, the only part I think that really got me was the, whenever he was taking a bath, quit looking at me, Swan. I was like, what the? I used to think that was funny. Like, not anymore. It's weird. Am I too old for that?
I am maturing.
That's not funny. But no, good overall movie.
Sadly, I
Great
still
record.
say that to my wife occasionally.
What?
Quit looking at me, Schwan.
Yeah, of course you do, because that's in our wheelhouse.
But I think Adam Sandler owned the 90s for sure.
God, yeah. When it came to comedy,
Yeah.
you couldn't do better than him.
And that's one of your like decade, or not decade, but generational people, you know, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, like Farley too. Both of them
But
kind of came up.
I would say Sandler for other reasons too, obviously, but
Yeah.
like defined it. you
Oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. No, he exceeded Farley, but Farley had what, 3 movies,
Yeah.
4 movies. He like
Mike Myers would be another one.
Mike Myers is there, but when it comes to like overall comedy,
Yeah.
he was more of the storyteller comedy.
Yeah.
He was looking for a bit.
Yeah.
Anytime you watch any of those Austin Powers now, you're like, he's just
I don't watch those movies. They were funny the first time.
love him.
When the second one came out, I like in the theater, the guy that sat next to me at my job, just quoted it for like, and like I didn't watch it for like a month or something because he quoted it all the time, and I was just like, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
It's like, stop
You
it,
know. Yeah, and then I was kind of done. You know, they're funny. Don't get me wrong; they are funny.
Yeah.
But my favorite Mike Myers is definitely "So I Married an Axe Murderer."
Yeah, that's whoa, man.
Whoa, man.
She was a whore, but she liked some tea. It was a great movie too.
For sure.
Everything that he did was great.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, Sandler had the goofy funny movies, and it was like every 2 years he had a great one.
Yeah, he pushed them out pretty quickly.
I don't think
And then the ones that were, I mean, Happy Gilmore was amazing. Like there wasn't a lot of misses in there.
No.
You know what I mean?
he didn't really.
Besides Cabin Boy, which wasn't that him?
No, that wasn't Sandler. No.
What was his first movie? Was on a boat too.
Oh yeah, Overboard or something. No,
That's Goldie Hawn and Kurt
it was
Russell.
like Out to Sea.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway, I think we've had this discussion before because I think that Elliot guy was on the one I mentioned.
No, I think it was Overdude.
I'm out at sea overboard, man.
Overboard, man. Yeah, it was like something stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb.
But
I think Cabin Boy was that dude that did the
that was Chris
Elliott, right?
Yeah, Chris Elliott.
I don't know. The guy that did that paper where he was the paper boy in the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking
wow.
not the paper boy, but the cabin boy.
Yeah.
God, that is so funny. It is so horrible.
I have a lot of movies like that.
Yeah.
That's not one of them. I did like that show, whatever that show was he was on, where he was like an adult and he was a paper boy and he like lived with his parents still. It was an early Fox show.
Yeah. I remember it being on Fox.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
I know we're digressing away, but now I gotta know.
But that movie was fucking great. And then when
like his big deal now is he's on a big show now, right?
Oh yeah. Going Overboard is what it was called.
Oh, cool. Get a Life.
Yes.
That show. It was from 90 to 92 on Fox.
Yes.
What is the damn show he's on now?
It's
It's a big one, and I can't think of it.
It's the one about the town. Oh, I know which one.
Exactly.
What is it called?
Why are we going about Chris Elliott like this?
I don't know, because Chris Elliott was pretty funny. God, he was on so much. He was on Community for a bit. Yeah, I know what freaking. Yeah, they won all the Emmys this year.
Yeah, that show.
Yeah.
You know what else he was on?
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek, thank you.
That's right.
He was also on an episode of the 1987 The Equalizer.
Man, him and Jim Carrey need to compare notes.
He's got Equalizer and Miami Vice credits.
Come on, Miami Vice.
Yep. He was on 2 episodes of Murphy Brown.
What? That's a name that I haven't heard in a long time. Come on, Miles. Holy crap. Murphy Brown. Now we're here. We ain't leaving.
Oh my God. We better, because this is an episode about comedy albums.
Yes, it is. And this will be a comedy album when we're done with it.
But Adam Sandler, yes. Fucking awesome.
Man.
I can't say enough. And I do think that a lot of his newer stuff, like he's kind of phoned in.
Yeah, big time.
But I really enjoy a lot of his work.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Everything that he's ever done is good. I forgot what the.
But he really embraces it. Like he's like a kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
I feel like he kind of is the Billy Madison without all the money back then.
Yeah,
you know, and now he's got all the money, and now he's just like a cool dude.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm gonna go shoot some hoops.
Yeah, and every time they did those, remember the MTV specials where they would play like celebrity basketball games.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would like rent out freaking the junior high gym, you know, like the dudes from Pearl Jam were there. Adam Sandler was there. Some rapper that couldn't play basketball, and they would like move it up and down and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And you'd score like 100 points. Sandler was on it. Every time he played on it, he was kicking everybody's ass.
Because he loves basketball.
He loves it. Yeah, he took it seriously, and he was killing everybody.
I used to listen to a lot of sports radio. And he was always on like the Dan Patrick show.
That's why he's... Yeah.
You know? He'd be like, yeah, I'll shoot some hoops with you. But that's by Dan Patrick's been in a bunch of his movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He always has his friend in there. Or friends from everywhere, really.
Yeah.
You know what, the one that... The only movie... Well, because I like Jack and Jill. I think it's funny. It's a horrible movie. Where were you?
I hate that movie.
It was really bad. But it's so stupid.
Came with a rusty razor. These are your 2 options. At least I got something out of the package.
Got something good. You just gotta like rub the plastic on your wrist until it starts to burn.
But as far as his albums go, there's like 3 or 4 really good ones in a row.
Yeah, he went from that one to What the Hell Happened to Me,
which was awesome.
Which that had the goat.
Yes,
hey,
yes, it did.
Goat. I'm tied to a 3-foot rope. No, fuck no, I don't want to get down. My legs aren't cramped. My mouth is too small. I won't catch that football. Yeah. He's like, fuck it, I'll do it. And you just hear, oh, you button hooked me.
That's a fun album for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. No, that one's always up there for me. But What the Hell Happened to Me was the first introduction into it, which was awesome. So, you're next.
Oh, I'm already next. Already. I'm already next. So, going in chronological order, so we went from 83. This one came out in 86. This is Robin Williams, A Night at the Met.
Oh, okay.
And it is so good. And for me, this was really the first time I saw Robin Williams not as like Mork and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So he was always kind of a very clean character that I'd seen in everything for the most part at this age. You know, when I heard this. And man, now this is like right after he went through like rehab and all that. You know what I mean? He was like off drugs or off and wasn't drinking at all. I think that was the big deal for him, was drinking at the time.
Drinking?
Yeah. At that time. I don't know the story, but he mentions about it in this. But this just cracked me up, and he's so Robin Williams, just like, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going here, I'm going there, and changing my voice. I'm doing, you know what I mean? Like, very animated.
The genie. You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
for
the
real.
genie was Robin Williams. For sure.
Yeah. No, being able to do everything that he did, and he was, because him and Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg were like, they were shooting hoops in the backyard. You know? They were always together.
I think this would be a little dated now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he does talk a lot of politics from the time. But I absolutely enjoy, like, he goes kind of through, like, boomers going, you know, not boomers so much, but like the effects of alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, those things. He does get into, like I said, he gets into some very topical politics at the time. Like, I mean, you got to figure like this was like Gaddafi times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Well, that's what he did really well, is kind of riff on things.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's amazing. I've had a couple of his albums. This is one that I had early, and again, this would have been like on cassette tape.
Damn.
You know?
He only had 3.
Yeah. Well, he had one that came out in 2005.
Oh, did he have a...
Yeah, it was like live at Broadway or something.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But, yeah.
Well, come on. He was like the shit when he was from work.
He was the shit, period.
Yeah, and then he like grew, and then he got better, you know, and then he kind of took over, and he was just the way that he was portrayed on film, way different than what he was in real life, as far as like the manicness.
Right.
I think, you know, from everything that I've seen, he was a very gentle person.
Oh, you mean like in life? Well, you mean even his comedy was very manic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that was just his outlet. Of course, we lost Robin Williams, you know, within the last, I don't remember what year.
Well, he did so many like movies like Patch Adams and I mean, come on, Awakening's badass movie.
Yeah.
I'll admit it, and I've watched it multiple times.
Sure.
And been like, dang.
Him and De Niro.
Yeah, De Niro, and they were working with dopamine or something like that in their brains.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he was funny to a point, but he was very good at the dramatic.
Good Will Hunting.
Wow, come on. The Fisher King.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
100%.
Everything that he did, he was great at. Even,
I think what he conveyed very well was emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mrs. Doubtfire, come on.
There you go. Classic movie, man. People loved it.
Yeah.
People still do.
Oh, man.
You can go to that house.
You
Mrs.
can?
Doubtfire house. It's on, I think maybe Airbnb or something like that. I saw it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Man. So Sally,
maybe it wasn't Airbnb. It was on something that you can go there, though.
Sally Field's place.
Yeah.
She ran off with the bandit, but ended up with a Williams.
But this is another guy, like, if Eddie Murphy opened me up to something, Robin Williams opened me up to something really different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember him. Pause.
Now for a word from our sponsor.
Yes. So his stuff that he would do on stage, because he was always all over the place, a very animated person. On the screen, he had those subdued roles, but then he had like the Oscar-winning roles, and then he would also have just the regular Robin Williams, to where he was kind of crazy. Or acting funny, you know, but serious. Like, I've never seen 1 Hour Photo.
I haven't either. I take that back. I think I have. I have seen that. What was the other one? Was it Insomnia or something like that?
Something like that.
Where he's the killer?
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
was a pretty convincing bad guy.
Yeah.
But not convincing enough for me to remember the name of that movie. But yeah, no, I could really see that.
This actually won the 1988 Grammy for the best comedy album.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it was a live performance.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's a TV movie.
Yeah, so it was actually the best comedy performance, single or album, spoken or musical. He won it all.
Of course.
He won it all.
Well, he was Robin Williams at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
1986? Damn.
Yeah, again, I feel like I had this like after that, though. You know what I mean? Like probably 88.
Robin Williams was like the Predator of fucking jokes.
Okay.
He just snuck up on you and fucking killed it. You know what I mean?
Well, and he's another one of those guys that when he spoke, he had some outrageous comedy that really balanced with like leaving you like, you know, at times.
Like Carlin.
Yeah, not to the degree I think of Carlin, but yeah, for sure.
He was socially conscious.
Yes.
Or conscious.
Which is what I thought you said, yes.
Did I say it right?
I don't know.
I don't know. My jaw hurts. My wisdom teeth are still like,
oh,
yeah, they're impacted. Good. So I can't open my mouth that high.
Oh,
that high.
That
what
high,
am I fucking? Is this my fucking my vertical? You know, you got a 1/4-inch vert, boy. You're gonna make it. That's my vert. And my, 0.5 miles an hour running speed. But yeah, no, I could really see, and I never had like a Robin Williams one because he was accessible on TV.
Sure.
So yeah, you could kind of see where he was kind of going down in the 80s, right? Kind of going to lead to the 90s, where that was pretty much the last bastion of anything that was really big. There's probably comedy albums out there right now, but I don't know who
Well, I think that a lot of folks sell them on their own websites and whatever, which is cool, super cool. My next one actually, that's how he kind of started. That would have been like I think it was 1997. Brian Regan, dude. It is awesome. He's had a few. I think that's what he's doing now is basically selling his own CDs that he's making on his website.
Okay.
The one that I love and is far superior to everything else that he's done, in my opinion, is Brian Regan Live. And that was from like 97. The thing that is amazing about Brian Regan is, again, I can play this with your grandmother. There is no cursing in his entire album, and it slays. It just slays.
Right,
dude.
right.
It's so good. This is an album that, as a single person, when I didn't have children, I would just put it on and play it. Just play it and play it. And my friends would laugh, and we'd smoke left-handed cigarettes, and we'd laugh some more.
And you knew what was coming.
It didn't matter, but it didn't matter. You were like,
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's going to take us on this journey, and it's going to be great.
You don't want to miss something. It was like listening to a CD,
listening
to like a record.
And a lot of it you can tell is just like stuff he's kind of pulled out a little bit from his life, which most comedians do.
Yeah.
And it's just good. It's just good. In fact, we went on a trip, I don't know how many years ago now, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We were going to go camping like a mile, about an hour south of here. But it was like 97 degrees. I'm like, I'm not camping in 97 degrees. That's dumb. So we drove to South Dakota.
Hey.
And went and saw Mount Rushmore.
Nice.
And then we drove all the way across Wyoming. And went to Yellowstone. But in the middle, we stopped at that Devil's Tower.
Oh, shit.
From
Close Encounters?
Yes, thank you.
Dang.
Yeah, so we got to stay a night there.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. And at the KOA. Outside of the Devil's Tower, guess what they play every night on a big screen?
Oh, better be Close Encounters.
It was. That was the only KOA thing we did, but we thought it was cool because the kids could have a pool and do stuff.
Yeah,
we've been like tent camping across.
Yeah,
that'd
be
I
awesome.
think we got a hotel in South Dakota, but whatever. At any rate, I played this album for them, and these are like teenagers, and they're rolling, dude. And I'm like, this is so great. I mean, it's because seldom I kind of feel like some comedy hides behind having to curse.
Oh my God, yes.
It is more effectual. You know what I mean?
Whenever you have the inflection in your voice and you're using the F word or you're screaming shit or something like that, you know, people are gonna respond to it because I guess it's a knee-jerk kind of a thing.
Right.
You know, you're like, oh, that's really good because he said fuck him.
Right.
You know?
He said the F word.
Yeah. And you don't need it. If you're genuinely funny, yeah, you could get away with one or two of them, but yeah,
for this album to have none through the entire album, and there's not a piece of this album that I don't love. Like, I love every piece of it. It's just really good. So I would recommend that highly, and that was actually I was turned on to Brian Regan probably a few years after this came out, a couple years anyways.
Dang, so 2023?
By all... like 1999, by my buddy Guido, Dustin Fetter.
Nice.
Shout out.
Great
stuff. I recommend it highly if you haven't listened to it. If you haven't listened to it and you listen to it, let us know. Let us know what you think, because I'm interested. I think not enough people have listened to this album.
I think I need to look for it, which in fact, on my playlist. But, okay, so Brian Regan, I know I've listened to him before, but probably not, because I don't really remember it. I probably know it, you know, it's like CCR songs.
I think I've owned this since like 99.
Nice.
Like in some format or other. So yeah, good stuff. What I found interesting recently is basically Spotify has almost all the comedy albums on it to listen to.
Right.
Like I just put in this person, then go to their albums, and it lets me play them. The person that was not true of out of people I've mentioned so far was Eddie Murphy.
Really? His records are on there?
Mm-mm.
Not on Spotify?
Mm-mm.
Do you think he's on Apple?
I have no idea. I don't
Well,
use Apple devices.
I do.
I know, you Nintendo playing mouth breather. No.
Nintendo playing Marvel comic movie liking.
Wait a minute, I like those two.
Yeah, I know, right?
You Apple people can't have those two.
Bite me, fanboy.
Just kidding. But yeah, I would recommend this album highly.
Cool.
You got another one in there, sir?
I mean, yeah, what I was listening to earlier was pretty good. Rodney Dangerfield, right?
Okay.
Rodney Dangerfield. Let me see if I can find it again. There it is. It's called No Respect.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
I get no respect.
But he came out just like a regular comedian. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, you know, like boom, boom, boom.
What year is this from?
1980. So imagine coming out of the 70s, he's already 60 years old or something like that, right? And he's at the height of his career.
But he hasn't even done the Triple Lindy yet.
Not yet. And Iron Man didn't save him. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's coming. But, yeah. But I always remember him from Rappin' Rodney, which I got the vinyl.
Yeah,
I love that one. I mean, he was all over the place too. He was the early 80s dude.
Yeah.
And
Caddyshack.
He had Caddyshack. He had everything. He was killing it. This show was pretty cool because it was basically 2 25-minute segments or something.
Okay.
And they just cut something out and it was probably just for the record, you know, flip the side. But God, the way he delivered, he was like old school, like Sinatra comic mixed with the new school, like, you know, they got, like he has a joke in it. He said, you know, kids these days, he said, so kids these days, they really know everything. You know, they're having all that sex. They even got birth control that looks like Flintstone vitamins.
Yes.
And it's just like boom, 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 boom. Everything lines up perfectly. And he's kind of interacting with the crowd. And at one point he laughs and you're like, I never listened to him like that. So it was actually a pretty good record to listen to.
Super cool.
Listen to it on the way over here.
I haven't listened to any of his albums. I did watch some of his old stand-up back in the day, just I don't know what on, like you're a kid and
What was
something
he
was on late, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, Rodney Dangerfield. I'm like, oh, this is that guy from Caddyshack.
That's that guy with the bug eyes.
This is back to school.
He was the bad guy in Natural Born Killers.
Not at that time. It hadn't come out yet. I was young.
Oh, man. I remember him from that role.
Oh, of course, dude.
Sadistic.
As hell.
Oh.
I always pictured, and we can go on about that, of course, but I always kind of thought of him as that, like, take my wife, please kind of guy.
Yeah. No, that was really, most of his jokes were that.
Yeah. But he was funny. He had a lot of more bite to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like, the other day I was driving down the road and I saw a naked man running. And then I pulled up to him and he said, well, I didn't get a chance to get my clothes on because you came home. Something crazy
Sounds
like
right.
that.
That sounds
It's
right.
just nothing but like jokes about his wife sleeping with the butcher and stuff.
But you're right. Like, he was quick with those. It was like one right after another. Like, he'd be on a roll,
It was so crazy how fast his timing was. He was just like boom, and then have another one, and then that lead up to nothing. He wasn't like he was, again, the old school kind of comic. He wasn't the new school that kind of came after, where they would get on a deal and they would kind of roll with a bit for a long time.
Right.
Eddie Murphy had the bits where he'd tell a story, and the story was awesome,
I got some ice cream.
But then Dangerfield was like one after the other.
Yeah. He was a true, that kind of stand-up comedian.
Like a Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Don Rickles was an asshole.
Very much a Don Rickles. That's a good call.
Yeah, because,
And not that they were the same, but they were very similar.
No, he was really fast.
Yeah.
Don Rickles could insult anybody. Still
Yes,
can, probably, if he was still alive. I think he's gone.
I don't know the answer, but that sounds right.
Yeah. He says, here's a joke. I will tell you, when I was a kid, I had it rough. Once on my birthday, my old man gave me a bat. The first day I played with it, it flew away. that kind of stuff. And that was what was really cool about this, is it's intimidating if you're a comedian in New York at that time.
Right.
Come on.
For sure. I couldn't imagine. I think that's like one of the hardest things to become prolific at, is being a stand-up comedian. It takes courage, dude. You know what I mean? And you can't blink an eye without, you better be fast on your feet, is all I'm saying. And with live comedy, there's people that'll run you over, just out
in the crowd.
Out in the crowd, man.
Well, you see, right now comedy is a TikTok.
Yeah,
pretty much.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
That's how
that's
fast.
That's because Quibi died.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Quibi. So, I mean, nowadays with the comedy, you see these dudes taking on these hecklers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yet they're doing these bits, and they look like, I don't know. Most of the newer comics look like, everybody looks like a goddamn hipster to me.
Everybody looks like John Mulaney.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's a dick.
I think he's funny as hell.
He's funny, but he's a jerk.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
He might be the nicest guy. You don't know.
He might be, but...
but that's not Brock's opinion.
No, I don't think so.
That's fair.
Yeah, if you sat down with him, he'd be like, I'm fucking too good for you. You know what I mean? You're like, dude, come on, really?
I don't know that that's the case. Just because he wears fancy pants.
No, it's not the pants.
Oh, okay.
It's just his attitude towards things.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I haven't really sat down with him and talked or anything.
Yeah, we hung out together like 3 weeks ago or something. I forgot when it was. But yeah, Dangerfield had it going on.
For sure.
He really did. Because you're coming from the mean streets of the 80s in New York. You know?
I would say he probably came up even in the 70s more. Yeah.
So he was doing comedy like they were doing in the 60s,
right.
in the 50s, in all of the dives around, freaking New York City.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Bowery and shit.
It took him a while.
Oh, shit. He was 63?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. How old was he in Natural Born Killers if he was 63? He must have been 80.
Something. He was old, though.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Because that was a great part.
Yes, it was. That whole movie is amazing.
Yeah,
That's a different podcast.
That is a drop culture movie.
Oddly enough, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay. So, off on that tangent. What other?
So I'm going to keep rolling with the 90s. I've only got two more. And this is Mitch Hedberg. Are you familiar with him?
Familiar, but not. I didn't listen that much.
Okay. Mitch Hedberg only made 3 albums. He died in what year? 2005. And I when it happened, a lot of people were like it was a drug overdose. And then a lot of people were like, no, it was a heart issue. Probably both, in my opinion, But I remember that was like a big thing because people who really liked Mitch Hedberg were really into Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, I know.
Super funny guy. The thing I like about him, this is a guy does not take shit seriously at all. And he didn't do it for any other reason than the comedy. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of it was his delivery, like how he would say things. And just the way, like his whole style,
Yeah.
was very, very crazy. But I guess he had like some sort of like real bad stage fright.
Oh, really?
And you would see a lot of times when he was on the screen, he'd be shaking the microphone, like
yeah. He was just not used to it, huh?
Yeah. But he would say great stuff. It's just so like deadpan delivery, but it's so good. And like, he'd be like, oh, that joke sucked. Like he would throw that in. That joke was terrible. I will edit that out and put in your laughter.
Yeah, that's bad.
And just stuff like that. I'm against picketing, but I don't know how to show it.
See, I always knew about Hedberg, but never listened to him.
Why can't my house be infested by koala bears? I would turn on the lights and they would all run away, and I would not want them to. I would want to pet them and hold them.
See, I need to pick a record.
But he was more that kind of guy too, where it was really short kind of jokes.
He threw them out there, and it was better that way. He can get more in.
Yeah, and I mean, he'd have maybe a little bit of a setup, a little story, but most of it was just boom, boom, and those were the best parts. So specific albums, I don't know which one I actually heard first. Like, I feel like I really didn't get into Mitch Hedberg until after he'd passed away, because his third album came out, like, right after he died, I think, or the next year or something.
Gotcha.
And my cousin got me into him, and I was like, man, this is great. And then, I dug a little deeper.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't really remember a lot of him when he was, like, kicking it.
No. 1998 to 2005 were the years.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I remember hearing about him. I remember he had a buttload of comedy specials, too.
Yeah, the one that I chose was Strategic Grill Locations. I think probably just because that was his first one. But I think maybe I heard Do You Believe in Gosh first, which was like the one that came out after he passed, and then kind of got back into... Right. And Mitch Altogether is awesome. All 3 of those albums are good.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's a different kind of vibe for comedy.
I know a lot of people love him.
Which is what I like about it, because it's different than a lot. It kind of reminds me, in a way, of Stephen Wright.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A little bit. Different, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I like Stephen Wright a lot. He was always funny.
Yeah.
It still is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to him in a while.
No. I haven't listened to like Dennis Miller and shit, I was I was reading something earlier. They were talking about Dennis Miller. Remember his freaking Monday Night Football? It was so awesome. I looked forward to Monday Night Football because it was so crazy. The way he would commentate.
Well, and I like Dennis Miller on Saturday Night Live. Like, I always look forward to the Weekend Update, and all that. But yeah, that wasn't a good transition.
No,
And I just don't think it was just a weird chemistry of people. And
yeah, he didn't have the dynamic.
Right. Well, and I think that a lot of the people that he was with were like, I don't understand what he's doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yo, come on. Yeah.
And I'm not
Anybody
saying
on there?
anything wrong with those people. I'm just saying I don't think they quite caught on to what he was doing at the time.
Yeah,
you know?
he was putting jokes in there that you got, and you're like, damn, that was pretty funny. But yeah, the other dudes are like, and it's a 4th down. You know, they had a couple, and he's like, he had more hits than Gaddafi did,
right?
You know, after the Pan American War. You're like, dude, what? That's so strange. You're bringing up Panama, but it was so funny. Like I loved watching the Dennis Miller show was pretty good, but yeah, Mitch Hedberg. He had total grunge looking cover for that one.
Yeah, I would definitely check him out if you haven't. Like I said, short discography or whatever. Really good stuff, and a big change of pace. So if you're a person that likes comedy, it's cool to have like a different take on it.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to check that one out too.
You ready for my number one, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't pick a number one.
Cool.
So I have a real hard time with this because my number one would have been George Carlin album.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Back in Town originally, which was from like 96. That is the one that has one of my favorite skits ever about the state prisons, where he's going to take all the druggies and put them in Colorado, and all the killers and things he was going to put in Kansas, and he's just going to put, and then Utah for molesters and whatnot. And then Wyoming was for somebody. And then he was going to have gates all around him. And then like once a month, like he had a great marketing scheme for it. It was awesome. Once a month, 7-inch doors would open or something. And like who would, the fittest of these fucking weirdos. Pretty much he breaks it all down. Then eventually you have America. But everybody that was on drugs was going to be in Colorado. I remember that.
Hey.
And all the drugs they were going to take, they would get off the streets that the DEA and the cops didn't keep. They would airdrop into Colorado. So
damn. Talk about
fucking hilarious, dude. He talks about like having fucking capital punishment on Monday Night Football. Like it's so good. So good. And it's the whole, I just love George Carlin.
Yeah.
The reason I couldn't choose another, this as my number one, and this came out in like 96.
Okay. Yeah.
But in 99, Your All Disease came out.
I remember that one being big.
And that's where he's like angry George Carlin.
Yep.
I mean, he's always had that little bit of edge, but it just seemed like the older he got, the more it got.
And the angrier he got.
That album kicks it to me. I listened to that album 1 bazillion times. I've seen everything he's ever done. Everything. I've never been like, oh, this is something new. You know what I mean? No.
You're like, I haven't seen this one yet.
I really identified with like his thought processes.
Yeah.
And
always
then,
liked it. Yeah.
Also his balance. Very socially conscious, but he's going to give it to you in a funny way.
Right.
And then he's going to tell a fart joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, from him, you get the street poet known as Dennis Leary.
That is true.
Because Dennis Leary was like, let's get in your face and I'm going to flip a cigarette at you. You know what I mean? And like try to put you on fire and
one
shit.
Of my honorable mentions would definitely be No Cure for Cancer.
Yeah. Dennis Leary was great back in the day.
Yep.
He had the asshole song.
Yeah, that's from No Cure for Cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a great number one. I mean, it's George Carlin, one of the funniest dudes ever.
I could break down, like, I could do an episode on each album,
Nice.
but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the honorable mentions I have is like Dice Man, Andrew Dice Clay. You always remember that shit whenever you were younger. You're like, hickory dickory dock. You're like, damn.
Little boy blue because he needed the money.
Oh.
Hey.
He was like a weird character.
The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
I fucking love that movie.
I saw that movie in the theater.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, I remember I was really young and we rented it and we're watching. I'm like, man, this guy's funny. You know, I was 10. You know,
That sounds
laying,
right.
Yeah, laying on the floor, and I was like, "This dude is so awesome, Mom and Dad." And they're like, "Oh, okay." Maybe it was the boobies. I don't know what it was, but I was like, "Yes."
Everybody loved him when that movie came. I mean, like that Dice Man Cometh or whatever it was. Was that his big album?
I think so.
And then the Ford Fairlane movie. I mean, like that got made because of those. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he had that character in there, but he was almost a pretty good serious actor.
Yeah,
Kinda could do the serious stuff, but he was
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Hey, jizz.
I didn't even think his comedy was serious. You know what I mean? Like
No.
he was obviously.
He was just a Guido.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now
I almost always thought he was just playing a character.
pretty much.
You know, which some comedians do. That's what they, they're not themselves necessarily. They're like, hey, this is my character that makes me money.
Right.
I don't know if that was the case.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Dice Man.
It's funny that we refer to him as the Dice Man.
As you should.
Yes.
But yeah, that was great.
Oh, I mean,
It was, it was funny when I was a kid.
oh
for
my
sure.
God, yeah, because it was
But
so
going back,
outlandish.
it's
Andrew
okay.
Clay Silverstein. He looks like he could have been one of the Misfits.
Bang,
You know what I
bang,
mean?
does.
He was like the 15th drummer in the Misfits.
Bang bang, Andrew Silverstein. Yeah, it totally looks like he could be one of the Misfits for sure.
Oh man, but yeah, he was big on HBO,
Yes,
just like Bobcat was.
Yep.
You know, you had the Bobcat.
And Emo
go for it.
Phillips somehow.
Emo Phillips.
You don't remember Emo Phillips?
Uh-uh.
He's terrible. You don't want to.
Cool.
Somehow he he got popular for a while in the 80s because of HBO comedy specials, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember.
Maybe that's the time where I was thinking where it was like because that guy got an album, I'm thinking maybe that's when comedy albums were outselling certain albums.
Oh, like in the late 80s or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, I remember Bobcat's stand up. He's a big producer now, but he's still pretty funny. And then who else was I going to mention? Of course, Bill Hicks.
Yeah, I listened to a bit of Bill Hicks this week. Definitely an honorable mention for me. I think the first album I listened to him was Arizona Bay, where he talks about California falling off into the ocean, and then you have Arizona Bay.
Well, I mean, there was so many.
But I've watched some behind the scenes stuff or some biographies on him.
Yeah. I mean, he blew up with our generation because of Tool.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know? Everybody's like, whoa. Oh, yeah, everybody I knew that loved Tool was like, Bill Hicks is the man. I'm like, cool. I remember watching him back in 92.
Yeah. I think Bill Hicks to me was a guy that but he very much kind of was like a Lenny Bruce in a way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was kind of over the top.
Yeah, and then he got like real wasted and crazy for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a shitload of stuff, you know, and it was all good.
Yeah.
All of his specials were good. I'm trying to think of who else about that time too, besides the Dice Man. The Dice Man. He's the Dice Man.
Well, what was nice around the time that you had Dice Man and all that stuff is it was about the same time, wasn't it, that you started getting like in Living Color and you're getting more of. I mean, we always had SNL.
Yeah, oh yeah.
SCTV and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but I think In Living Color really brought a lot of comedy people, even though they weren't necessarily stand-up comics, I guess, but you know what I mean? You got more of it every day or every week, you know?
Right.
And like I lived that life, dude. The 90s were SNL.
Yeah.
Like Friday, like when we came to school on Monday in like 1990, we talked about what we saw on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
For hours. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think when you're in high school, certain years that you're in high school, Saturday Night Live is it.
Yeah.
You know,
that would have been
ninth
like
grade.
Wayne's World time.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Wayne's World changed my life. No joke. Like, for real. I remember, like, I hit, like, a milestone in my life at that point because I remember walking out of that theater being like, I'm fucking changed. You know what I mean? It was so funny, but yet the soundtrack was awesome. everything was so cool. And I was like, I'm somebody else. Jimi Hendrix was the shit from then on for me.
Yeah.
It was like, that was my catapult, was Wayne's World.
Really?
100%.
I think I told you that when I was like in high school, we won like a radio contest. We had to go, like, I was Wayne and my buddy was Garth. And we won like tickets to Six Flags and hotel and all kinds of stuff. Because we won.
That's crazy.
It was at a video store. Like, in the radio station was there doing this contest,
doing a remote or something.
Yeah. And it was like not a chain video store.
Oh, no.
It was like a local. It was the Stars and Stripes video.
Oh, shit, yeah. Hell yeah. Stars and Stripes. Gonna go down to the Stars and Stripes tonight? Man, maybe they have Sister Act.
I think our big local one was Prestige Video.
Whoa. Yeah, ours was Hastings. And then they brought in Hollywood Video. They thought they were better than everybody because they had Hollywood in the name.
My hometown, I believe, still has a video store. It is Family Video.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
See, I would love to have a video store.
I know, right?
Why not?
Well, it's a town of like 30,000 people in the middle of the Midwest.
Right.
You know?
Might as well.
Yeah.
Why not? You sell toys and shit like that?
I think they just have videos.
Oh, wow.
And candy and shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Some soda, popcorn.
Well, see, it's like the video store, I saw the death of it.
You were working in that industry, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But not really, because I worked at Suncoast Movie Productions. It was like, welcome to the Suncoast team.
Yeah, we had a Suncoast in our mall in Springfield.
Yeah. Didn't have one until I moved to Dallas. But that's when I saw the death, because I used to go try to find whatever small video store I could find. Because I went everywhere in Dallas, all the way around Fort Worth, Dallas, everything like that. And I would stop, and most of the places where, they had the gondolas that were run down and shit. So they didn't have anything except for like George Carlin specials, old stuff, right?
Right.
I found Trick or Treat on video there.
Nice.
At one of them. And it was crazy. And then you'd go to Blockbuster, and they'd have like 50 copies of X-Men 2 and shit, Not cool.
That was the better X-Men.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, too many copies. Come on. Yeah. But that was the thing, is you would get these things there. You would get, Heavy Metal magazine. You would get the comedy records. Right. You would see the comedy specials that they would release, and you all did it at the video store because everything was there.
Right.
I still would, if I wanted to throw away my money, I would start a video store and do VHS.
And you would be broke. Yes.
Yeah. I would do VHS.
It'd be super cool.
Well, my son said in Austin they had, and it's closed down now.
Because of COVID? Or?
Yeah, I think it went under. But it was a place where you could go rent DVDs, videos, and they had almost everything.
Really?
I remember he was texting me from it, and he was like, what movie do you think I can't find? And I was like, Rock and Roll. And they didn't have it.
Nice. Score.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I was like, how about Munchies? And he was like, they got it. Weird shit.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Comedy albums, huh?
Yeah.
Video stores, huh?
At any rate.
Hey,
yes.
That's what my blog is called. Man, I got to kick my own ass for that one. I said my blog. Huh. Now I'm a different person. I've changed. I have a blog. Yeah, but it is on the website. It's called My Life at the Video Store.
He does have a blog.
Mm-hmm. I haven't updated it in a while.
So, any other comedy albums, sir, or anybody else you wanted to throw out? All your Smothers Brothers albums?
Oh, man. Smothers Brothers? Damn. They were on it.
Nobody played a banjo like Tom Smothers.
Nobody. There were no goddamn Everly Brothers. But yeah, no. I remember that's something that's of the past. Now it's all video.
Yeah.
It's all
But even
Kevin Hart.
I would say even when I was, a kid though, we would go and get all the stand-up comedy videos from the video store. You know? So we progressed with that, but I stayed with the albums just because it's something that you don't have to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can have it in.
The good comedians are going to carry that all the way through.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You're not going to listen to the Emo Phillips album unless you got problems.
That name.
Oh, you'll know. Just look up a clip on YouTube. You don't have to do it right now. But seriously, at some point.
Hey, I have.
And the reason I didn't go while you're looking that up, the reason I didn't go too far into George Carlin,
God. I think I know.
We could do a whole show on George Carlin.
Oh yeah,
that's why I didn't go too far on that.
Yeah, Emo Phillips is like, there once was this guy.
That's the guy. Yep.
And
I thought about doing the voice, and I figured you would get it, and then I was like, I don't know that I can do the voice.
I just saw him. This is the first time I've ever seen the dude, and I know it's that voice. I was like, oh, yes, that's him.
Yeah, his stuff wasn't for me. But
dang.
Somebody thought it was funny because they made it, he made money.
Oh, he was
popular
on
for a couple years.
Oh yeah, he was on UHF. Bam.
Yeah, true.
That was a little bit of a Weird Al Yankovic for you.
That's true.
You
get the fire hose.
He's a. Did you know the turtles are natural suction cups? He's a watch. He throws it up there. Welcome to Juan's Wild World of Animals. Fucking love that movie.
Absolutely. But I think that wraps it up for our comedy albums. Definitely let us know what comedy albums you have that we missed. Or check these out and let us know what you thought.
Yeah, if you got some like really hidden ones, that would be really good.
Yeah, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, you can reach us at like a phone number, but we're working on that right now. But you can reach us on dropculture.com.
Yes.
And at Gmail.
dropculturepodcast@gmail.com.
What's our name? The Drop Culture Podcast. Just look it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're there. We're there along with Stables Media.
Yeah.
We're there. Just check that one out. You'll be blown away. God. Lunchboxesrus.com. Holy Smokes, Amarillo. God, man, we got a lot of sponsors.
We do.
It's pretty cool. And we always put them at the end. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
And okay.
All right. It's always okay, a little okay with the end to be jacked up because it's easy to fix. It's like just now there's the end.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to think that was funny. Not anymore. It's weird. Am I too old for that?
I am maturing.
That's not funny.
Sadly, I
Great
still
record.
say that to my wife occasionally.
What?
Quit looking at me, Schwan.
Yeah, of course you do, because that's in our wheelhouse.